Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about describing the relationships among angles in triangles. There's a couple of things you're going to need to know, so we're going to start taking notes on the next slide. Okay, so for vocab we have interior angles. Those are the inside angles. In this triangle it's X, Y, and Z. And then we have exterior angles, which are outside angles. Those aren't really shown on this triangle. Later we're going to see that those are angles that when you extend a line, you can find an angle here. And if you extend the line this way, you can find an angle here. Of course, this is true for all three of those vertices on the triangle. We'll look at some more of those later. The one that you should be familiar with is the angle sum of a triangle is always 180 degrees, and there we're talking about the interior angles. Okay, we're going to find the value of x in these four problems, and we're going to use the angle sum of triangles making 180. This one's very straightforward. We've got three angles, so 32 plus 48 plus x. Those are the three interior angles, and those have to make 180. We're going to combine these two numbers to get 80 plus x equals 180. Now we're going to solve this one-step equation by subtracting 80 from each side. We did that because we want to make the number 0, which we did, and x is by itself on the left, and 180 minus 80 is 100 degrees. And so we have 100 degrees for this x right here. And these three angles add to 180. In the next problem, although it doesn't seem like we have enough information with numbers, we're going to still go ahead and fill in these interior angles and find out that we do have enough information to solve the problem. X plus 28, that's this entire angle right here, even though we don't know its exact value, we just plug it in like we plug in x, and we're going to add 90 because that's the symbol for a right angle. This is a right triangle, and these three angles add to 180 degrees. Now we're going to go back to what we learned at the beginning of the year with PC, SAD, just to make sure we're keeping everything together. We're looking for parentheses, and there are none. But now we're going to combine like terms, and that means these two x's come together as 2x. The 28 and the 90 come together as 118. And the 180 is just sort of sitting there on the right waiting to see what's going on with the rest of the problem. All right, so now we have a two-step problem, and we're in the subtraction addition part of it. And so we're going to get rid of this 118 because we want this x on the left side here to be by itself. Minus 118, minus 118. And the 2x comes on down on the left side. We made the number 0. And 180 minus 118 is 62. And so now we're going to divide away this 2 because this, of course, is multiplication, and we're in here. In PC SAD, the E stands for exponents, and they're not exponents, so we're not going to have to worry about that. The opposite of this multiplication is division by 2. And so x equals 31 degrees. So that means that this x equals 31 degrees. That's not our whole answer because remember we have this x here and we want to know what this angle up here is. So we're going to put a 31 right on top of that x. 31 and 28 is 59. And so now we have the two missing angles. Actually, it did just say find the value of x, and we did. We just completed that. And you could check 59 plus 31 plus 90 should equal 180 degrees, and it does. Okay, so now we're going to find the measure of exterior angles. So now we're going to find the measure of this x outside the triangle. Well, this one's going to be a little bit tricky, but what we're going to do is we're going to have this realization that this x is along this line. And so if this is x, then this little part in here has to be supplementary to x, or x plus whatever this is 180 minus x. These two numbers are rather simple. Here we go. 36 plus 72 plus this missing angle. And this missing angle is 180 degrees minus x. And all of these three angles together Now we're talking about this inside angle and these two inside angles. As normal, add to 180. Okay, so we have 36 plus 72 plus 180. Okay, so here we have 36 plus 72 is 108 plus 180 minus x equals 180. We're going to add these two together, continuing just working with common terms, like terms. And so we get 288 minus x equals 180. We're going to subtract that 288 from both sides. We're almost there. But continuing, this makes 0. I'm going to bring this over here. Now watch, it's not x, but it's a negative x or minus x, because we got to keep track of that sign right there. 180 minus 288 is a negative 108. And now we divide each of these by a negative 1. So x equals 108. All right, and so this angle right here must be 108 degrees. All right, in this problem, we're going to take this problem right up over here, and we're going to add these angles on the interior. So we have 80 degrees, we have a minus 5, and we have 2a on the outside, which means on the inside here, we have 180 minus 2a. And all of these together have to equal 180. Okay, so now we've got a couple of different terms in here that we can combine. So we're going to combine like terms. Let's work with the numbers first. 80 minus 180 is negative 100. And, oh, I left a 5 out there. I'll pick that up next time. So a, whoops, I just see that I made a mistake here. This negative I put in here should be an addition. That would throw me way off. So let's go through and fix this. We're going to have 80 plus 180 is 260. That's these two together, just like here. So that's 260 minus 5. 260 minus 5 is 255. So let's start with that. 255. We have a, and we got to watch these signs. We have a minus 2a, and a minus 2a is minus a. Again, way over on the right side here, the 180, nothing's happening with it. It's kind of hanging out, waiting to see what's going on over here. Okay, so now we have basically a two-step problem. We're going to subtract the 255. And that goes away. Again, we've got to watch that negative. Negative a equals, and here we're going to do a subtraction problem, and it's got some borrowing, so I'm going to make sure I get this one right. 5 minus 0 is 5. Here we've got to borrow to make a 7, so it's negative 75. Divide each of these by a negative 1, and a equals 75. It says find the measure of the exterior angle. If a equals 75, and here there are two a's, that would be like saying 2 75s, and 2 times 75 is 150 degrees. And so this exterior angle is 150 degrees. Okay, for this next slide, we'd like you to try these 4 on your own. You'll notice we have some interior angles with some variables. Remember that 180 minus the variable, and then this fourth one's going to be rather challenging. Just give it your best shot. Great, thanks. And you'll notice on this next slide, we've got the 4 answers to those 4 problems, so you can check to see how you did.
Answer the essential question.
And we'd like you here to answer the essential question, what is the relationship among angles in a triangle? Obviously, you're going to talk about the angle sum note and how we can use equations to solve for missing variables. Once you finish with your essential question, go ahead to Schoology and you'll see the checkpoint there, and we'd like you to complete that after you've done this video. Thanks.